On today's lesson, I'm going to teach you 3 fundamentals to upgrade your forehand. So let's get started. If you follow my channel, you know I'm not exactly obsessed with technique, but that doesn't mean that it's not important at all. I mean, good technique can absolutely make your strokes easier to execute, especially under pressure. So when it comes to the forehand, there are 3 fundamentals I want to talk about today. Number 1, and my good friend, the tennis mentor, you should all be following on YouTube, talks about beating the bounce. So what that means is when you've hit the shot to me, I want to have my racket back on my forehand before your ball bounces on my side of the net. Now, a lot of times I see amateurs and I think they're just overwhelmed by thoughts, but that ball is coming to them and they've barely done anything. They might have shifted from the ready position to here. The ball bounces, they're late with their prep, they're taking the racket back too late, they have late contact, they lose control, they feel off balance. So a very simple idea is to beat the bounce with your racket prep. The ball comes to you, before it bounces, you're all the way back, and then you can step in and swing and get early contact. So today I'm going to be using some examples from the Intense Tennis League. I had a chance to coach and commentate there this summer. And we're going to be using video of Sophia Johnson. She's a great player, top 20 in D1. Now she's playing pro. And I want you to watch how early she gets her racket back and how she beats the bounce. All right, let's take a look at Sophia here hitting forehands with Sam Nicholson on the far side of the net, another D1 men's player. So he's hitting a little faster, deeper, heavier than most girls that she'll end up playing. But look at how quickly she gets the racket back before the bounce. That's why she's able to hang with someone who's hitting fast, deep shots like the one you just saw right there. The racket, the coil, everything is done before the ball bounces on her side of the net. So when we freeze it on the bounce, look where she is. She's coiled. She has a little leg bend. This is the first ball where she's just getting into it with her legs. Right there, she's fully locked and ready to go, and the ball has just bounced on her side. So that gives her time to see the ball, make any adjustments, and accelerate and absolutely rip. And right here on this one, you can actually see she's starting her swing right about now, and the ball hasn't even bounced. That's how she's able to handle a ball that basically lands on the baseline. So you want to be coiled, you want to be bent, you want your racket ready to go before the ball bounces on your side of the net, and that's going to give you the time to step in and rip every forehand. Fundamental number 2, and I've talked about it on this channel before, but it's sitting and lifting. So we know that if you want to hit a good forehand, you've got to have some version of low to high. Now you want your body to match that swing. So sometimes you hear people stay down, but if you stay down and you're trying to swing up, your body is literally fighting that swing. So if you watch any great player, their head is actually lifting as they hit that forehand or backhand. They load and they lift up. Now you've heard people say, keep your head still, and that's true to an extent. I don't mind if your head goes up and down. In fact, it's necessary. As your head is lifting, I don't want you to pull off to the side. That is where people get in trouble. So it's great to have your head fixed on the ball, but it's okay if you're sitting and lifting while your head stays still. I want you to watch Sophia again. She does an elite job at sitting and lifting. So here's a side view of Sophia hitting forehands. I want you to pay attention to the bending of the legs and how she lifts through these ground strokes. You can also see on this angle, she still has that great racket preparation, but she's sitting and lifting into the ball. So she's swinging low to high, not only with the racket, but with her body. So let's take a look at this forehand right here. She's got the nice split step, the early preparation. Look at that leg bend, nice and loaded, ready to go. You can see her head is at the sign of the intense sign, and now it's at the very top of the green. So you can see she's lifted through that ball to use her body to swing low to high. Another slow motion view here. This one, she really sits down with her legs, nice and low. You can see she's in the middle of intense, and she lifts up as she hits. But again, the head is not moving side to side, just lifting. The third fundamental, and I'm sure you're sick of hearing it if you follow my channel, is you've got to have tremendous height. Now, I've heard that marketers need to advertise to you 7 times before you actually buy something. So maybe if I bang the drum for height 7 times, you'll actually buy into it. But we want to have height for a variety of reasons. Number 1, we want to take the net out of play and stop missing. Number 2, we want to have great depth. And the more height you have, the better depth. Also, with that height and that spin, the ball will be out of your opponent's strike zone. So the myth is that even these great players, they hit so many low shots. I want you to watch Sophia here. She's indoors. She's ripping with another D1 men's tennis player, and she's still clearing the net by 2 to 4 feet almost every single time. It doesn't mean you're not going to be offensive. It doesn't mean you're not going to attack. But when you play with that little bit of margin, not only are you more consistent, but you get better depth and better pace on the ball. So let's see where Sophia has her height targets. You can see she's hitting from behind. This is a similar clip from earlier. And look where the ball's crossing over the net. You know, each ball's a little different, depends on the ball that she's receiving. But none of these are hugging the net tape. Now, again, In person, I don't think you can understand how fast this girl hits. It's actually very, very impressive. And she's still hitting 2 or 3 feet over the net, at least on a majority of these balls. So we're going to try to freeze it right when the ball crosses the net tape, which is a little tough from this angle. Right there, you can see it's probably 2.5 feet would be my guess if we're using the net as a barometer. Right there, that's over 3 feet for sure. And you can see where it lands on the baseline, a very difficult shot. That's probably two. I mean, I guess some of you at home want to say 1.5 feet, but I would say 2 feet at least. That's another 3 feet. That's at least the height of the net over the net. And again, that ball right there is probably one of her lower ones. That right there is a standard 3 feet. So even players who rip on indoor courts are using 2 to 3 feet of margin for that depth and effective shot. So work on these three fundamentals, and look, they're not super technical. You can get better at these within a week. I'm not asking you to change your grip or take your racket back differently. I just want it back before the ball bounces on your side of the net. And I'm not asking you to swing differently. I just want you to sit and lift so you have a little bit more low to high. And then, of course, I'm asking for a mature, better target out of you, 2 to 4 feet over the net, especially when you're behind the baseline. If you knock out these three fundamentals, your forehand's going to get better very quickly.